Hi there, I hope everyone is enjoying your weekend. I wanted to show you a few things in the greenhouse before we head outside. You can see that last week Claire had started some flower seeds, which we have just sitting in the window. So let's make sure that we keep these moist until germination. I don't know, I can't remember all the details about how long it takes flowers to germinate, but I feel like sometimes it can take 15 to 30 days for some varieties. So we'll just have to kind of keep an eye on these over the next few weeks. But hopefully something will germinate. I have some more containers here that we'll use for winter sowing, and I'll show you outside kind of what my setup is. And then I'll set out some more seeds for these containers in here. I just put humidity domes on the seeds we're trying to start under the grow lights. So if you start to see anything germinate, just take the humidity domes off. And then we are gonna start some, I think mostly Asian greens this week, and I don't have the containers set out, but we'll just use these. I'll set those out tomorrow along with the seed packets that I wanna use. And we'll just put those on the shelves by the window here. We won't worry about putting those under the grow light. Let me see, where's my list? Okay, so to head outside, we'll do some more harvesting this week. It looks like Tuesday and potentially Friday is going to be rainy. So I feel like we could do a decent amount of harvesting tomorrow on Monday. So starting here, I want to do kind of just like a greens mix because we have various things that we can kind of just throw all in together. So let's harvest some of the mosh. I would say take no more than a third to a half of the leaves off of each plant. And I'll have this written out. So we'll do mosh. The arugula looks like it got harvested pretty well last week, but we could maybe harvest just a little arugula. We can harvest Asian greens. So I want to finish harvesting this bed, and we can just kind of pull the leaves. I mean, these kind of grow in rosettes, but we can kind of pull the leaves off of especially these plants here along this side just to make them like individual leaves. So we'll have those in our mix. There's a ton of beet greens, or beets growing, but lots of beet greens under the row in bed 14. So we can take the row cover off and just pick a few greens off of each plant. And then we can harvest a little bit of spinach back here. Let's see, maybe a little off of this plant. So I'm basically just trying to harvest all the tender greens, and since there won't be a lot of each, we're just gonna kind of mix it up and make like our own salad mix out of it. And on the bag you can just put like tender greens, eat raw, or cook briefly or something like that. And then we'll clear out the rest of this bed. We have a little bit of this scrappy Swiss chard in here, which there's a few plants maybe I'll just try potting up and putting in the greenhouse for now. The rest of this, so this row and those two heads of winter choy, we'll harvest those and just title it tender greens or something like that. And then this row is the one that's going to go into the salad mix. So anyway, we're going to clear out this bed. This is bed 8. And I think I'll have to look back, but I'm pretty sure I'm remembering this right. I sowed fava beans in the middle of the winter last year, and I put a plastic cover over the top, and they germinated faster than I thought they would. So we're gonna try that again this year. Next week we're supposed to be getting into some chilly temperatures, but this week is still like somewhat mild. So I figured it'd be a good week to just test and see what happens. So we'll do that, and I want to definitely get that done tomorrow to give it a good head start. I want to cover these new figs. which it might be too late because I did have them covered at one point, but then it warmed up again, so I took the cover off. But I know we've had some chilly temperatures, but I do want to get these covered. I was thinking of taking one of the small wire trellis, like those round trellis things, cages, that's what I'm thinking of. The small cages, sticking them in around this and just like shoving it full of leaves or something. So anyway, that might be something that we can do tomorrow too. Again, it's going to be pretty mild this week, but next week it's supposed to start, it's going to get down. I think there are going to be multiple nights in the 20s, like low 20s. So at least by the end of the week, I want to have that covered up. Have some more things to harvest. Let's harvest this broccoli head here. We can keep harvesting some of these bigger, let's see, I did harvest this last week, but you know, we can go through and harvest a couple of these bigger chunks of broccoli. Oh, there are a couple of borage plants. Let's see, I pulled out one last week. There's a borage plant over here that needs to be pulled out. That's looking a little scrappy. Right here, I can pull that out. I feel like there was one somewhere else. So if you see a borage plant sticking out somewhere that needs to be pulled, feel free to just yank it out or cut it off. I know sometimes those, they're really well rooted in. There's Swiss chard under the cover here in bed, what is this, 6? And then there's Swiss chard here, which I did not harvest last week, so those probably could use a little harvesting this week. And then some cabbage leaves. I pulled off, there was a lot of kind of dead and not good looking leaves on this bed, but we could probably get some, like maybe just one bag full of cabbage leaves here off of these plants. I haven't looked at the underside of them, so they might be looking scrappy too, but we can look and see. I did not harvest any kale last week or collards, so we'll keep an eye on that and see if that needs to be harvested this week too. Oh, and I did want to, first, real quick, while I'm thinking of it, here's my winter sowing setup. So these are the ones that I did last week. I don't know if you can really tell this, but they are cut almost all in half, except you leave a little hinge. And then you put soil in, you plant the seeds, you water them in, and then you close it and you put tape on the outside to hold it in. And then you label it, and you can see I have this kind of in order, like 1, 2, 3, because a lot of times the labels will rub off even when you use like the garden pens. So I just have this in order so that I can go look at my list inside. And if I know this is the 7th container, I know it's marigold, even if the label wears off of it, if that makes sense. So we'll just continue on here. We'll do 9, 10, 11, 12. And then the only other thing that I wanted to get done this week, I forgot to show you this in here, is to take more leaf of life cuttings, which is this plant. And if you guys haven't seen this before, you basically just take a leaf and you lay it just directly in the soil, and then new plants will grow from it. I'm kind of thinking we should just cut off this big stem that's growing so huge, because it's almost to the top of the greenhouse anyway. So maybe we'll just cut that back, and we'll take some of these leaves, and instead of putting them in these small containers, because the leaves don't really fit that well, maybe we'll use, I mean, we could just put them in, let's see, what do I have here? Like something like that. Just whatever you can find. You know, there's some other containers down here that might fit a leaf a bit better, but you can also just cut the leaves down into smaller sizes as well. So we can get that started this week, get those growing. Oh, and then one more thing outside. I've just been, as I'm harvesting, noticing lots of little weeds in the beds. So if you want to help me get kind of a kickstart on weeding some of these beds, I feel like there's lots of little things growing in there. So if you're harvesting a bed and you just notice little weeds on the ground, just if you want to just pull them, that would be awesome. And I think that's about it. My kids are back in school this week. So hopefully I have a regular schedule. But if for some reason I'm not here, then just give me a call or shoot me a text anytime. And I think that's it. Thanks as always for your help. Bye-bye.